Good morning to everyone. Welcome to our class this morning. We're going to start in a restorative yoga pose. So you'll need a couple of pillows. If you're joining in at another time, feel free to just pause and go grab those pillows. A few throw pillows, even a pillow that you use in your bed is perfectly fine. And we're going to go ahead and lower ourselves down and extend the legs and face the palms up. This is a great posture to place a blanket over the body and just take some moments here to rest. And let's close down the eyes. You might even take your arms and stretch them above your head. If this is a waking practice for you, you can articulate all the fingers and sort of wave the hands around in the wrists. You can take hands to the top of the head and just do some light massaging here. All little ways to help yourself settle into the practice this morning. Be sure to get to that point at the base of the skull and the top of the spine, a little soft spot at the base of your skull, and just do a little scratching or a little massaging here to help loosen this area up. You might do a few circles on the heart and taking a moment here to connect in this space and feel the feeling center of our bodies. It could be nice to draw down from the shoulder towards the center of the heart, drawing energy back into the center of the body. Then work your way down into the belly and take the pads of the fingers with a little bit of downward pressure and circle here in a clockwise position. It's the natural flow of the intestines and helps to sort of soften in the internal organs and start moving any energy that's ready. And keep working your way down a little bit further until you're just below the belly button, and do a little bit of massage, small circles here right below the belly button to loosen the belly so that as we practice our physical practice, we can breathe more deeply and more completely. And then when you've finished your little practice, you can release the hands out by the sides. And most important here is to let the ribs begin to expand away from the hips and out from the center of the body. You might explore the capacity of your breath for the next few moments. We all know what the automatic breath feels like in the body. It's sort of like blinking is happening, but we're not conscious of it. This is an opportunity for you to sort of see how expansive the breath can be without force or struggle. You might experiment with taking the deepest breath into the body that you can and relaxing and maybe sipping just a little bit more in, and then releasing all the breath out of the body. Whatever length that your breath is currently embodying, let it get a little bit longer, a little more spacious, calmer. Try taking a breath on the left side of the body. So you might see if you can, sort of with your eyes still closed, visualize breath coming up through the left foot and through the calf and knee and thigh and hip, right up through the torso, all along left side of the arm, left side of the brain. And then letting the breath go, doing the same thing on the right side, inhaling and raising energy up through the right side of the body to balance. And you might take a moment here just to wiggle the toes and sort of curl them underneath the feet. And you might even point and flex the feet a couple of times and then circle to release the ankles and free them. Now on your next breath, when you inhale, let's trace with our attention from the base of the spine, like you're rising up in an elevator, come up through sacrum, solar plexus, and the navel region, into the heart, into the throat, and actively look up with the gaze to the point between the two eyebrows, even behind closed eyelids, and release the attention out into the space beyond you. We'll do this a couple more times. Inhaling from the base of the spine, rise through the belly region, through the chest, through the throat, to the base of the skull, and then diagonally up to the point between the two eyebrows, and just free yourself out from that point. Let's do it one more time. Nice slow rising of the energy, and notice what it feels like to have your attention lifted high in the body. And we'll just let that come out and around. And we'll have a chant to set the tone for our practice today. This world, Mother, no one can love me. In this world, they do not know how to love me. moment here with awareness centering into the heart. Feeling any awakening of memories of that divine love, unconditional. You can soften the hands out of their position, maybe reach out nice and wide, and I'd encourage you to reach up overhead and sort of just press out of one side of the body and then the other, so we're still resting on our backs. And then sweeping the arms down, sort of like you're making a great big snow angel. Take a few rounds, just extending whatever the body can accommodate and releasing the arms down. And creating a greater sense of length as you reach out on either side of the body. And then we'll join hands up over the center of the heart, like you're creating the steeple of a church. And let's just take a couple of double inhalations. So we'll do it together. Double inhale, and you can open your arms towards the floor. And then release out of the mouth. Again. And release. You pretend like you're stretching a gigantic rubber band, so you're pulling away from the center and then relaxing the hands. A few more rounds. Good, let's drop hands into the chest now, soft fist to the heart. Double inhale here. And just gentle exhale back up to the sky. Arms are relaxed, holding breath out at the bottom of the exhale, then drawing in. Releasing, letting all the breath out of the body. Then bringing arms back in. Good, and releasing. You just drop the hands back down to the belly. Take a little circling here just to make sure that any energy that may be holding stagnant in the lower centers of the body, these are our sense of survival, our ability to process emotional experiences, and our self-identity, or our willpower in this life. So just massage in these areas and send benevolent flows of energy down here to make sure everything is balancing and coordinating. You can step your feet to the ground as you're ready. So if it's not prohibited, you can stay in the pose, laying on your pillows, and just rock the knees side to side. If you feel like this makes it uncomfortable, then you can adjust by removing the pillows beneath you. Take your arms nice and wide here. So you can get active by awakening through the hands, awakening through the head, looking opposite direction of the knees. You go as fast or as slow as your body is desiring this morning, allowing your intuition to guide your movements. All the while the heart remains open. Any energy centering in the heart is offered upward, back to the point between the two eyebrows. When it's natural, you can take knees sort of into the chest lightly and just do a little bit of stirring here. Knees stay close together. We have this nice opportunity with extra weight on the sacrum or the back side of the hips. So feel free to use the hands on the knees, or you can take hands to the ground and just use the belly muscles to circle. You reverse whenever is natural in your practice. And we'll just take a twist in the pose. Again, if you need to take the pillows out from underneath you, feel free, but extend the right foot all the way out, extending as far as it'll go. And then draw your left knee up towards the chest, and we'll just roll our body over onto its right side. So coming into a spinal twist. Your arms can go a little bit wider if you desire. Nice deep breathing here as you feel a sense of softening and awakening. Stay centered on awakening and opening of the heart. When it's natural, you can come right to the other side by gently drawing left foot back to the ground. Just exchange feet with bent knees, then send the left leg out. And we can come into our twist on the other side. You might center the breath down into the belly in this particular pose, sort of breathing against the twisting sensation in the low of the spine. Be sure to take at least one more full breath in the pose, aware of lengthening the breath and steeping back into a greater sense of ease and grace. And then you can come back to center as you're ready. We'll take knees a little bit wider and just circle the knees out and around. If you have very flexible hips, just lift and lower the knees while they're wide. And you'll feel that you're sort of rocking on the pelvic bone here. Otherwise, take full circles, knees opening away from each other, then coming back to center. If you want to challenge yourself with coordination, you could try to sort of wave the feet around as you circle the knees. Reverse the direction as you're ready to. Right, lifting and lowering one knee or the other. You can hold on the back side of the thigh, sort of like you're pedaling on a bicycle. A bicycle that's way too small for you. Knees deeply bent. Good. And let's place our feet back onto the ground and just rub the thighs a little bit. Our thighs are the area in our body where emotional energies of fear and worry and sadness often get trapped. So just feel that as you're rubbing your legs, you're helping to encourage the body to balance and energy and emotion to start circulating. You can do a little soft drumming if it serves you, stimulating stronger blood flow in the body. And then make sure you rub on the inside of the thigh, and even if you'd like, you can connect feet together and open the knees a little bit. And then we'll settle feet firm back on the earth. Let's go ahead and put our palm side down of the hands, and you can inhale and lift into a little bridge pose. And if you don't need the hands, you can sort of just rub on the front side of the hips, but you're squeezing your legs. Squeezing the glutes and the low spine to keep you strong in the pose. The affirmation for bridge pose: my every thought is a bridge to divine grace. My every thought is a bridge to divine grace. One more breath, this time rising with inhalation up the spine, right through the throat to the point between the two eyebrows. My every thought is a bridge to divine grace. When you're ready, you can lower the hips down. We're going to wave the knees off to the side and roll ourselves right up into our seated posture to begin, and we'll roll right out of seat on hands and knees. Taking a few moments here just to get fingers nice and broad onto the earth. You can just wave the hips side to side here, and then even move into a little bit of circling in the hips. So you're freeing these low centers in the body. Good. Nice deep breathing. Whatever sensation that you feel arising in your body, Let it be met with a calm and accepting breath. To the best of your ability in your practice, let go of any sense of tension throughout the entire body. So relax, sort of get soft throughout the body. And then let's start rolling the belly up into the spine. So sort of like you're doing a barrel roll here. You're rolling the belly up and in, and then laying it back and down. You might start with very small circles and then start to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Good, and then make sure that you release the head at the end here. We're going to come right into our cat pose. So right on the tips of the fingers, look towards your lap and bow the head here, releasing backside of head and neck. Looking to the lap and breathing. Some of us come on to tips of fingers. Relaxing the shoulders. Alright, as is natural, you can just lower yourself back into a neutral position. So let's go ahead and we'll step our right foot back here and just get a little rolling over the big toe mound of this back foot. Rocking over, starting to feel awakening, like you were trying to tap the crown of your head further towards the front side of the room. If anybody would like to try lifting the back leg, feel free, and you can go ahead and point the toes and just keep a sense of integrity in the belly. If you're really working on strengthening the core, do little baby circles with the back leg. Just be mindful of not taking it too far. When you're done with that side, set right for the other side. So rolling over big toe mound to start. Forwards and backwards. Center your awareness in the part of the body that is activating. Let it always be rising up your spine. If you feel like you can lift, go ahead. Just using the muscles of the belly to keep you strong in the pose. And then you can set that side down too. Let's just take a few circles in the hips to make sure that everything is starting to flush as we warm these centers of the body. We don't want anything getting stuck on its way out. So just breathe as you circle around. We'll come into a formal cat-cow. So when you inhale, create a beautiful arch of your spine by lifting the crown of the head. And then exhale, come into cat by rounding back and looking to the lap. So focus on where your gaze is. Look upward on your cow pose, pulling on heels of the hands to create length, not collapse. And then exhaling, you can round the back. As many rounds as you'd like here, warming up the spine. Connecting with the sensations of your body. This is your personal roadmap. Get to know your body so that you know where you can begin to expand in your experience. Alright, we're very gently going to make our way up to standing. So if you can come through a downward facing dog, that's hips up to the sky, and take a little pedal. Feel free. If that's too much on the body, you come right into a forward folding pose. But we'll all meet in a forward fold when you're ready. Forearms can rest on the thighs if this is a very challenging pose for you. The rest of us, bend your knees enough that you can lay yourself onto your lap. And wherever the hands stay, they can be up by the knees, they can be holding onto the shins. Just take a little rocking on your feet. Try looking behind you if it's available. Work towards a little straighter legs. And if you have free hands, rub the back of the knees. This is a great way to train your body to not feel like it's in danger. Just rub it and let it know that it's okay. It can open in these moments. And then when you're ready to rise, we lift halfway. So you inhale and you arch the spine and lift the crown of the head forward. So squeeze the belly and then release the head down to the earth. Take a few rounds, inhaling to lift halfway. The affirmation, nothing on earth can hold me. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to affirm, nothing on earth can hold me. When you're ready to rise, you bend the knees and slowly roll up the spine. Arms and head stay heavy as you come into your first standing pose. When you arrive, take a little bend of your knees. Make sure everything's nice and buoyant. Let's actually do a little bit of a vibration here. So you're just going to tap your heels on the ground. And you let your whole body be nice and relaxed. This is a great practice for increasing bone density. So make sure you get a good vibration. You sort of want it to shake right up the body like a little jolt or a vibration. And if you get comfortable with this, and you can go kind of double time and just relax the body. Let the muscles shake. Let the shoulders be heavy, the jaw relaxed. The more of a vibration you get from the heel, the better it will be for bone density. If anyone wants to take it a little further, you can go into sort of a lot of jumping here. You can even leave the ground if you'd like. It's a great way to energize the whole body. When you've had enough, you come right into stillness and just close the eyes. Notice if anything has awakened for you. Let's do one more warm up in the low spine. So opening eyes back up. We'll just take feet a little bit wider than the hips. And we're going to gently swing our arms like empty coat sleeves around the body. And you let the back arm sort of knock against the kidney on the low back. Arms are nice and relaxed and you're empty coat sleeves. There's no muscles binding them. Just rolling, wrapping arms around the body. All right, let's take feet just a little bit wider. And this is kind of an unconventional practice, but it's something I picked up along the way that's really fun. So we're just going to swing our arms up and off to the side. So when you do so, your opposite heel is going to lift. And you sort of push off of one side and release up to the other. So your arms, again, they're like empty coat sleeves. They're very relaxed. And you just pulse side to side. You're really resting on the ball side of the foot. This is a great way to open the shoulders. If you can't go so high in a diagonal, just come low. But this little spring from side to side is a great way to energize the spine. If you can go up, stay up nice and tall. And you're always looking forwards here, not following the gaze of the arms, but looking at what's in front of you. Good. And then we'll just come back to neutral, take a few neutral swings. All right, let's inhale, we'll bend the knees and then reach the arms up into the sky. Exhale, seal the hands down through the heart center. Take a couple rounds here, inhaling to rise. Exhaling to center. Find that place where your practice is effortless. The body doesn't feel heavy, but it feels weightless. Exhaling into center. Let's take one more nice and slow this time. Inhale and push through the ground to draw upward rising energy. Exhale, hands through the heart center. Let's wake up our side body here. We'll go ahead and inhale and reach up into the sky and then over and off to the side. This is our half moon pose. The affirmation, strength and courage fill my body cells. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Better to reach up than to fold way, way over to the side. Stay lifted in your pose as much as you can. If you find your shoulders sort of closing down to get you up there, just bend the elbows and reach over to the side. We'll go to the other side as you're ready, inhaling through center and reaching up and over. Especially lengthening through this inside angle of the spine. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Strength and courage fill my body cells is the affirmation. One more time. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Alright, let's come back through neutral, hands down, and just separate them over to the shoulders. Take a few circles of the elbows. Make sure everything feels good in the upper chain here of our shoulders. And be aware of the expression that you're using in the pose. Sometimes when we have injuries in the body or challenging areas, we start to sort of wince or we contract. And I'd encourage you, let's go ahead and open the arms to symbolize that great expanding energy. And then exhale, come back to center. Let's take feet nice and wide, toes can point out. And you get your legs nice and straight. So we'll go ahead and we'll inhale, reach the arms out. And just rest here for a moment, stabilize. Good. So we're going to bend the knees and open the arms, double inhale. And then relax forward. Again. Let's stay with it for a little while. You go as far as your body's ready to. It could be just a little. And then releasing. You go way down. Keep breathing. Again. Again. Last one. Lots of integrity. All right, hands joining together. So let's just go ahead and we'll turn one of our feet out. So for continuity here, everyone being in the same, let's just turn our foot out to the side, and then your toes of your other foot will come around. And you can bend your front knees. So you're in your warrior stance. Feel free to shift back onto your mat if you'd like. And our hips are facing forwards. We're going to inhale and rise up with our hands. Some of us want to widen our stance and feel free. So if you have sensitive knees, a shorter stance is better. Wider stance is good for strength building in the body. And we'll lift our hands up into the sky or leave them in the heart center if your shoulders are sensitive. And the affirmation for Warrior One pose, I attune my will to the source of all power. I attune my will to the source of all power. Let's make sure we're pushing down through soles of the feet. It's almost like you're trying to spread the mat further away. And then there's also a drawing through the inner thighs, where we draw up and in and lift through the low spine. I attune my will to the source of all power. Nice and steady here. Make sure you're challenging your body a little bit, but not pushing yourself into preoccupation with survival in the pose. You want to feel a sense of grace. You can turn your hands down and just release them by your sides. And we're just going to go ahead and rotate to the other side. So you can use your feet to do this. You might be facing the opposite direction if you're on your mat, and that's quite all right. It's the same pose facing opposite direction. And you sweep the arms up either into the heart or above the head, depending on what your body is ready for. And look with great intensity at one point in front of you. If the gaze is jumping left and right erratically or up and down, this is symbolic of a restless mind. To calm the mind, look at one single point. And you're feeling the essence of the pose, signified by the affirmation, I attune my will to the source of all power. Using your will, I attune my will to the source of all power. And same as the other pose, push down through the soles of the feet. Spread the mat wider, spread the earth away. And then you can draw through the inner thighs, drawing in and together here. There could be an upward lift through your spine. I tune my will to the source of all power. If you need to rest the hands, feel free. Let's take at least another deep breath in. And when you're ready to exhale, lower the hands down. And we'll just sort of open our hips to the side. And here we are in our wide stance again. This time your toes are going to point out to the sides. And we'll just take a little forward fold. So if you need to brace your forearms on your knees, bending your knees and lowering your head. Others of us, we can come all the way down with straight legs. Some of us can even turn our toes to face into the center, and this takes us into a deeper expression. If the backs of your knees are sort of zinging, just give them a little rub and let them know that they're safe, it's okay, they're trying to protect you. Saying, hey, you don't normally do these crazy flexings of the body, so just give them a little rub, and this will encourage some immediate relaxation. And then you can just heel toe nice and close together as you're ready. And we'll go ahead and we'll rise, lifting halfway. So bend the knees if you need to. Try to lengthen your spine. And then exhale, fold down. So inhaling, everyone, this pose is available to everyone to varying degrees. So find the degree that is accessible to you. Inhaling, you lift halfway. You can even have knees bent, like you're sitting in a chair. And then exhale and fold forwards. Next time we're coming all the way up by bending knees, rolling up the spine. Nice steady lift in the body. Feet hips distance apart. Let the hands stay low and close the eyes in Tadasana or standing posture. Let's go ahead and use one hand like you're zipping up a jacket. As you lift this hand, lift your awareness, draw the inhalation as you come all the way to the point between the two eyebrows. And then right up to the crown, and go ahead and just sort of pluck the top of the head a little taller. Reach the other arm up into the sky if you can. And then spread that energy down on exhalation so you can feel this nice long spine through the body. And let's take a mental scan here, checking in with the hips as they've been getting quite a bit of love. Checking in with the heart as it's been gently coaxed to open wider. And then you could flutter your eyes open. We'll come into tree pose, Vrikasana. So you can turn out whichever foot you'd like to start. And start with foot down at the ankle. Then if you feel like you can go a little bit higher, you stack your foot onto the calf. And some of us just skip the knee. We'll come right to the inner sense of the thigh. So it's this active pressing of the foot into the leg, wherever it rests, that really helps you to balance. If you need a wall, you just place a hand on a wall. Hands can come into heart center. And you're going to look at one point of focus. Look up a little bit higher. It challenges the balance at first, but it will keep the energy lifting. And you want to push down through the foot, but lift with great energy through the whole body. Stand tall. Sometimes we can kind of slouch in our poses. Get nice and tall. If anybody wants to send arms up overhead, this is a great opportunity. The affirmation with soft intensity. I am calm. I am poised. I am calm. I am poised. I am calm. I am poised. Stay with the practice. Try to breathe until the pose becomes effortless, till it becomes very natural. Keep the gaze centered at that single point And you'll feel a calm expanding throughout every part of your body. When you're ready to come down, make sure that it's nice and graceful. Lower the hands, very slow and gentle. We'll settle that foot down into the earth and just free the opposite ankle by circling. You can hold on to the hips. Get a little freedom here. Good, just flush out this beautiful hip of yours. And then come into standing and close the eyes down. Release the hands so that you can feel the effect of the tree pose. Feel the awakening that's happening within you. Stay here as long as you'd like, and we'll gently transition into our next tree pose as you're ready. So you start by stacking your foot against the ankle to begin, then stepping to the calf if it's available for you. And some of us just skip the knee. Don't put any pressure on your knee, and you might be able to tuck the foot up in towards the thigh. So that little bit of pressure of one limb towards the other creates a little energetic lock, and it affords you the ability to lift taller in your spine. So hands into the heart for most of us, shoulders relaxed. Energy is towards the ball of the foot on your supportive trunk. If you'd like to send arms up into the sky, feel free. Find a point on the wall to look at softly. And decide in this moment right here that you will not waver with your gaze for the rest of the pose. And we'll repeat, I am calm, I am poised. Relax the body and keep lengthening. I am calm, I am poised. I am calm, I am poised. Not just words, but you're affirming the qualities of the soul. I am calm, I am poised. We become what we think about most often. So forget your mistakes and center your awareness on your soul qualities. I am calm, I am poised. When you're ready to release, let it be slow and gentle. And be aware, unless you fall out of the pose, and that's fine too, be aware of the way that the posture is affecting your awareness. And just close the eyes. You might circle out that leg if you need to, if it feels particularly challenged by the pose. And then we'll come into stillness here, eyes closed. Energy is on the ball of the foot. And you relax into that energy. We don't have to force it or create it. Good, just like we did the other side, let's take one of our hands like you're zipping up a jacket. You're inhaling deep down into the spine and carrying that breath all the way up, full breath through the heart, through the point between the eyebrows, and then up into the crown. And go ahead and pluck the head nice and tall, send both arms up into the sky. Feel that great sense of length in the spine, and we're going to settle that right down into our chair pose. Great for healing the knees and strengthening the thighs. May be challenging. Go ahead and drop the hands down and lift them up into prayer pose. You're going to push weight onto the heels. Keep the belly nice and toned here. And this is a great way for most of us to dive into our Utkatasana or chair pose. Squeeze your thighs, squeeze your glute muscles to support you. By squeezing and toning the low body, you're sending this great vitality. You're pressing it up through the spine. If you'd like to extend your arms, be very mindful of your low spine. Remember, weight is on the heels. This will protect your knees. Use the muscle, not the joints. The affirmation for chair pose, we're going to stay here for a few moments. until we feel this reality within our own experience. My body is no burden. I am light as air. Relax and repeat. My body is no burden. I am light as air. My body is no burden. I am light as air. Let heavy emotions evaporate from your body, heavy thoughts. My body is no burden. I am light as air. When you need to come up, do so before the body fatigues. And just come into standing pose. Tadasana, free the hands down by the sides. And watch for a few moments so that you can see what this pose invokes. Shift the inner gaze up to the point between the two eyebrows. All your energy drawing up. My body is no burden. I am light as air. My body is no burden. I am light as air. Okay, gently fluttering the eyes back open. Last of our standing poses, we're going to come into triangle pose. So you can take a big step back with one of your feet. We'll do one side and the other, so don't worry about missing out. You want to keep your front leg nice and straight, and we're going to start to fold over this front leg. So some of us, we might just rest one hand on the heart, and we may look over the back shoulder, and this is as far as our triangle will get. Others of us, we want to lower a little bit more, and you just start to slide that front hand down over the leg. Some people like the preference of pressing the backside of the palm against the leg, and this helps you to open your top arm up to the sky. You might slide down a little bit more. The focus here is that your spine still wants to be one beautiful line of energy. And you breathe in whatever version you're choosing. The affirmation for this pose: energy and joy flood my body's cells. Joy descends to me. You can always hold on to this leg if you need to in the front. Again, you don't have to lift the arm. Yoga happens in the spine. Let's repeat the affirmation though so that we can reap the benefit of the energetic quality. Energy and joy flood my body's cells. Joy descends to me. Energy and joy flood my body cells. Joy descends to me. We're going to drop into a side angle pose by bending the front knee and lowering down onto the forearm. Again, you can hold heart, you can hold your arm down along the side of the body, or you can always reach up into the sky. So you find what is available. And the affirmation for this pose is beautiful. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. Repeat these with deep conviction. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. If your top arm has been lifted for the duration, just settle it back down onto the hip and push down through this front leg, and we'll lift back to neutral. And then you take a few steps or one step all the way back to the front. Let's just cleanse in the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands down into the heart, and then release by the hips. Close the eyes for a moment and lift your gaze. Let's repeat that affirmation a few more times. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. Rather than my body is tired, I feel weak, we affirm the truth of our soul. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. When you're ready, you slowly flicker the eyes open. And we'll just step the other side back here. Front leg is nice and straight. So you want your legs in some sort of a triangular shape here. Some of us will go further in the pose, and that's wonderful. Just make sure that you have a little bit of a bend in this front knee. And then you start to slide your hand down this front leg and opposite hand to the heart. And you're sort of folding in this front hip crease here. Folding, folding, folding more and more. Some of us will feel the liberty to send the opposite arm to the sky. But remember, this is enough. Make sure you try the pose so that you can reap any little bit of benefit. If you'd like to try backside of the palm to the inside of the thigh, this little push will help you to open your heart up into the sky and reach nice and tall. If you'd like to go further, feel free, but remember, the maximum expression is not always the most beneficial for everyone's body. Energy and joy flood my body cells. Joy descends to me. And I'm sure you can all feel it, this sense of strengthening through the center of the body. This pose really requires that. If you'd like to take hand onto the thigh to lessen some of that in the abdominals and the spine, feel free. Energy and joy flood my body cells. Joy descends to me. One more time. Energy and joy flood my body cells. Joy descends to me. And then you can start to bend the front knee and you rest right onto the forearm. If you need to rest the top arm, just let it come down the body. And remember, the spine is the central axis that we are practicing in. If you'd like to send that arm up to the sky, feel free. The affirmation for our pose: I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. Nice steady shape in your body. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. Nice deep breathing here, supporting your adventure into the pose. Now you be the judge. You may want to stay here for another few breaths and really steep in that sense of boundless power and energy. Or some of us are ready to lower down and just center your hand on your hip and then press strong off this front leg to come back into neutral. And you may take one step or 2 steps or 3 or 4 even just to get to the front of the mat. Close the eyes right away and watch as the body is recalibrating. Again, lift your energy up to the point between the 2 eyebrows. You can tap a little bit here if it helps you to do so. And then relieve that in center awareness up high in the brain. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. So let's test our belief in that affirmation, and we'll come down into our chair pose. This is not needed to be such a challenging pose. Hands into the heart, your weight is on your heels. See if you can remain joyful. Joy draws energy into the body. And we're going to double inhale with hands soft fists at the heart. Double exhale, release out. Again. Double exhale, relax. Again. Feel that you're gaining energy. More energy with each round. One more time. Good. Hands can come down to the lap, and we're going to just pour our head towards the ground. Let's take a forward fold, releasing head down towards the earth. Again, bend the knees if you need to. We get a little bit of time with the head released towards the earth. If your arms are free, you might sort of massage the top of the head a little bit here. You might massage the face, helping the sinus to flush by drawing fingers underneath the eyes by the sides of the nose. Make sure you get to the ears, little massage of the ears here. The affirmation, nothing on earth can hold me. All paths are leading to child's pose. Some of us will walk our hands away from our feet and we'll end up in a downward facing dog. Others of us come right down onto our knees and we rest down either onto forearms and head releasing, or we untuck the toes and extend the arms into full child's pose. So just relax here. Stay in downward facing dog for several breaths if you'd like. In this way, you start to attune yourself to the version of the practice that your body really wants. My cues in these postures become a light framework for you to express. Think of this practice like the canvas, and that you are the painter. You create the image that you'd like, based on what you're feeling inside, how you're breathing, how you're sensing. And of course, at any point in this practice, if you feel overwhelmed by a pose or it's particularly challenging on your anatomy, you can always come onto your back. And that is typically a comfortable pose for most of us, especially the one we started with pillows supporting. So this next pose is not available to all body types. Let's slowly rise out of our child's pose up through tabletop position. We're going to try a pigeon pose. So if this is a very challenging pose for you, just come down onto your back and you can do a figure 4 pose. And this is the same effect as your pigeon pose. So feel free to dive into that practice. If you'd like to come with me, you lift your hips up in a downward facing dog, and you're going to draw your, it doesn't matter which side, either knee up to the front. Your ankle starts underneath the hip, but as you find that you're maybe more flexible, you can swing the foot out to the side, and you start to lower your hips down. So just be aware of what your body is ready for. Some of us are pigeon pose looks more like this because our hips are not quite ready to lower down, and that's fine. You just find what's ready for you. Remember, you can always come onto your back. The essence of the pose is the same. When you do arrive into your pigeon, if you're coming into this exploration, you want to lift your chest nice and tall. Crown of the head is floating higher towards the sky. The affirmation for pigeon pose: I rise above all thought of past and future into the eternal now. I rise above all thought of past and future into the eternal now. If your gaze is looking downward, lift it up. To meet and greet the world, I rise above all thought of past and future into the eternal now. When you're ready to, you just lower the chest down, tuck toes of the back foot underneath, and when you're ready, transfer the weight into the hands. And wherever you are, we're switching sides. So come over to the other side in a graceful way, choosing if you want foot centered underneath the hip or off and out to the side. Then you lower down. You'll notice in my back foot the toes are remaining tucked. you're welcome to untuck the toes. It's a preference on your knee. More than you're trying to sort of pry your way up into the pose here, relax the chest and roll the shoulders down and back, and use the strength of the arms to slowly pull the heart forward and reach higher upward. I rise above all thought of past and future into the eternal now. I rise above all thought of past and future into the eternal now. One more time. If you're on your back, make sure you switch to the other side just to give equal love. I rise above the thought of past and future into the eternal now. As you see fit, you can start to lower out of the pose, bowing the chest and lifting the back leg and lifting your way out. Some of us want to take a downward facing dog and we press our hips up to the sky. And you might just stay here and sort of let the body readjust, especially in the hips. You can always come down into child's pose. If you're on your back, take your knees in towards your chest, so child's pose on the back. If you're on your back, you can separate your knees and come into happy baby pose if you're looking for a little more. So find the option that starts to awaken something in you. It takes you beyond the mundane in the pose, where there's something special, a unique expansion of your awareness. This is ideally where we're all headed. Now, wherever you are, every pose is going to lead us back into a final exploration if we need one. But we're all coming down onto our backs for the final resting pose of Shavasana. Shavasana is the lying down on your back pose, known as corpse pose. If there's anything in between there that you'd like, maybe there's a little twisting to give some love into the low spine. But when you do arrive, extend one leg out at a time. Your palms stay facing up in Shavasana. This is a great time for a blanket. Also, if you really enjoyed our first pose, feel free to rest in our supported fish pose, Matsyasana. Whatever you choose, just take some time to arrive there slowly and bring with you a blanket to keep you warm. Contrary to popular belief in our yoga asana or yoga postures practice, you should not feel exhausted at the end of your practice, like you're just barely crossing the finish line. Rather, the body is ideally feeling very calm and the inner energy is very active. No longer diffused into many little streamlets of attention going in every single direction. We draw all the energy back in to this beautiful river of the spine. So draw that energy behind closed eyes to the spine. Shavasana is not an opportunity to sort of slip into idle thinking or some subconscious vacant state. the best of your capacity in your practice, keep your awareness lifted through the spine up to the point between the two eyebrows. It's a soft gaze, but be decided in your effort to keep the awareness central here. You relax every single muscle in the body like it were floating in the ocean. You just let any sense of weight leave the body. The spiritual eye is the doorway into infinite expansion. And that's the direction that all consciousness is moving, towards greater expansion. So let's take this time in our Shavasana to silently expand through deeper relaxation and presence. yourself in an expanded state of awareness. In truth, it's more ordinary than the restless state that we are used to being in. Allowing a moment to feel the deep relaxation in your muscles. The peace in the mind. It's from this place that you can begin to awaken energy and awareness back into the hands and the feet. You can squirm in the body a little bit here just to encourage wakefulness, maybe extending arms up overhead along the earth. Leaving the eyes closed, knees can come up in towards the chest for a little rocking side to side. When you're ready, you can roll yourself off to your right side, taking your time as needed. Allowing a few moments here to transition, just feeling the body resting on the earth on the right side. You may even place your left hand on your heart. Take a moment here just to hold yourself tender. Watching closely. When you're ready to rise, let it be in your own timing, pressing the earth away, nice and slow. Try to avoid swinging or rising too quickly. Just a gentle lift of the body. When you do find yourself coming back into a seated posture, the palms facing up on the lap, you can draw them right to the top side of the thigh and sit nice and tall here. If you need to sit up against a wall or a couch in order to keep the spine long, better than to struggle to stay in the seated pose. You can always sit up on the edge of a pillow. Let's keep the eyes closed down and center the awareness right up the spine back to the point between the two eyebrows. And feel the harmony that's been restored in the body. And maybe even how effortless it is to expand. You may even visualize a light here at the point between the two eyebrows, extending and expanding to every cell of your body. Energy flowing in at the base of the skull, healing and restoring every cell in the body, feeding into this growing light at the point between your two eyebrows. This is not a visualization, but it is a realized state by great yogis of many traditions. When the mind and the heart are calm enough, there is always a deep perception of light beneath the darkness of closed eyes. release that practice, joining hands together in front of the altar of the heart. And now is a great time to pray for loved ones, to pray for anyone that could benefit from this healing light that we are connecting with in our practice. Pray for the best and the highest good of whoever it is. Knowing that sometimes that looks differently than what we might want for them. We'll just honor everyone's journey. And you can extend that prayer out into the world, praying for the best and highest good of all souls. No matter how they act, shine this loving light equally upon all the beings of this world. We'll rub the palms together, generating a little bit of heat, a little energy and magnetism. You can extend the arms out nice and wide. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. This next inhale will Om for 3 rounds together. Join as you're ready. Good flow through your hands. Leave them out for a few moments. Whenever you're ready, you can join them back together in front of the heart. Feeling that all the people of this beautiful earth have been blessed by this practice, that you have been blessed. We bow to that place within us, bowing the head forward to the hands in prayer that is divine in nature, that is unconditionally loving, that is the essence of who we are. May we embody our soul qualities more and more until we forget this little self completely. For in truth, we are loving, compassionate, and kind. Honoring that place in each other, close our practice saying Namaste. Namaste. So you can flutter your eyes open as you'd like, or you can stay inward. It's your choice. Now is a great time to meditate for anybody that enjoys that practice. All right. Thank you all so much for joining.